I am so excited to be bringing this to you guys because this is something that we have been working on behind the scenes, and I want to make sure that it gets into your hands as soon as possible. So I have brought Andrew back on to help me communicate this piece. This is the map that we have been talking about with the masculine development journey process. So I'm really excited to share this. Andrew, I'm going to let you go first because I think you have a really great way of communicating this. So,
Sure. Thanks. And yeah, we've taken the time to map out stages of development and um, being able to have it in a way that men are able to see where they are in relation to where they want to be. And we're going to go through it at a high level today, and then we're going to have content that breaks it down even further, especially around this distinction of experiential versus executional, because then we can really show what we mean by those two um, perception styles. But we've got
mhm.
5 stages of masculine development, and they're a progressive journey of consciousness, capability, and containment. So each stage represents a deepening level of authentic masculine expression. So if I'm looking to the side, it's because that's where I got my notes. The first stage is unconscious. So operating from an unconscious pattern and reactions, unaware of impact on others. So this stage is actually the starting point where a man lacks self-reflection and awareness of his behavior and its effects on relationships and community. The next stage is conscientious. Um, Actually, we should probably pause and give you a moment to speak
Yeah,
to each one. So share on your elements of unconscious and what you've seen with men that are unconscious.
yeah. We chose that word specifically not because it's um, that you are obtuse, but it's more that you are working on gaining the awareness of either the social or emotional realm of things. You haven't quite tapped into that piece, and that's usually going to show up when you're working on the masculine and feminine spectrum, which is kind of where this community had been sitting. And so we wanted to share a little bit about that part of the process because it might resonate with some of you that you're there. And that's okay. This is a space where we can explore that too. But when someone is in that phase of the journey, what it's going to look like in practice or be across from someone like that is that there's not quite um, a level of groundedness to them. As the feminine, it would feel a little bit like there's just something that isn't quite there yet. So
Mm,
whether it's a feeling of not quite necessarily being grounded in his masculine presence or that he is in some way um, what's the word, not registering on a visceral level for the feminine yet to want to come towards you, to want to engage in that way. There's a sense of like uncertainty. I'm going to call it unsafety, but it's really a feeling of like I'm not entirely sure what's happening over there. And what this journey, this part of the journey is really about kind of creating some definition so that she can see you and experience you in a safe way that would
mm,
allow her to want to engage with you the way that you're wanting to be engaged with.
Would it be fair then to say that,
Anything?
yeah, would it be fair then to say that the men that are experiencing being friend zoned are sitting in this stage?
I think so, yeah. Because a lot of times when it comes to the masculine and feminine work, that is the piece where you're needing some awareness of what may be happening on her side for it to really click for you of how you have been showing up and what changes you want to make internally so that you naturally create a different experience for people on the receiving end of your presence.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Um, well,
Mhm.
it's not awesome for the men, but at least now we've got something to be able to point
Yeah.
at what it's about. Um, I'm wondering if also
Yeah.
as we're going along, because what we've gone into is a lot more depth, you continue to bring the feminine experience that shows even more what's possible. And
Okay.
I think the women call it the juiciness of the relationship. All
Hmm.
right. So as I said before, the next
Yeah.
one's conscientious, which is developing self-awareness and consideration for others' experiences and needs. So building the foundation for genuine relationship through increased awareness and intentional action rather than pure reaction. So yeah, what do you know about men that have been able to step into this stage, and what's the woman's experience?
Yeah, I would say for this one, it feels very much, and again, depending on his executional or experiential kind of preference piece, this is when he starts to step into being someone that she would consider, someone that would be um, a contender for her attention romantically. She can like see him, he's got enough definition. She feels that sense of respect from him where she feels considered. She is able to engage with him in a way that feels safe for her. And that's kind of like the starting line for most of the people in a romantic domain. You're not going to make it to the starting line in the romantic journey if you're not able to create that sense of safety for her that lets her know that you are able to engage with her in a way that feels good and conscious. It's a like an intentionality around it. I would say this stage feels like someone who is intentional with their time and their focus, and they've got enough structure around them that keeps them contained and not kind of all over the place
Mm,
emotionally. So again, it depends on where they're at on their experiential and executional piece. I'll talk a little more about that maybe later in the week, but that's what it feels like. This is when they start to come on my radar of like, ooh, that's someone that has some potential. We should pay attention over there.
it's I think we were discussing it. It was along the lines of he's that contender piece. It's like, oh yes, there's something here. I'm not going to hold my breath for him, but I'm not going to write him off. I think that's
Yes.
how you put it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly it. It's not, there's not a lot of pressure that you have to be perfect in this space, but also there is if you've experienced being friend zoned or feel like you've been written off, this is where you are wanting to move towards because this is when she's going to start paying attention in a different way.
So you have more freedom in this area to be more expressed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Well
Next
put.
one is. Oh, sorry. Was there anything else?
No, I think that's good. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's good.
Next one is self-assured, confident in own worth and capabilities, no longer seeking external validation. So authentic self-confidence that allows for genuine leadership and the ability to trust one's own judgment while remaining open to input. So just to add a little bit more to this one in comparison to conscientious, conscientious is basically being on the dance floor, if we could look at it that way. And you're comfortable now being on the dance floor and doing the social dances. Self-assured is becoming that man that women want to dance with, where they line up to dance with him.
Mm-hmm.
So say to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, well, as you were saying that, I was thinking this is probably, if you were wondering about the last one, I would say rooted is where you want to spend a little bit of time because that will get you at least into that space. This is where that next piece is where she is going to be actively wanting more of your leadership energy. So you have not only that self assurance that lets you move about the metaphorical dance floor, but also approach women that you are wanting to engage with and have her respond in a way that is like, oh, okay, yes, I'm very interested in this. You've got enough of that sense of self online. You've got that backing of yourself experience that gives her the contrast she's looking for to really
Mm,
lean back a little bit more and let her feminine energy come forward. This is where the things that you would have learned and rooted are going to start playing out in real life, where you can start to see that she is softening in your presence. You're able to see that she's animating more of her emotionality. You're able to experience what it feels like to be across from that like warm feminine energy that you are probably craving. In order to animate that within herself, she needs this level of leadership energy coming towards her in a way that feels like it is containing her and that it is, I hate to keep using the word safe. Is there another word I can use that comes to mind?
No,
Um,
I think it's worth using the word safe because we have to learn the language of both the masculine and the feminine, and what does safety actually
okay.
mean for a woman? So let's just take a moment here around what does safety mean? Well, if you look at it from social and emotional intelligence, safety is she socially contained, as in contained in the sense of that she feels comfortable, she feels like um, she's a priority in the situation. She's not necessarily the ultimate priority unless it's the date, and the date's more about the space between the two of you. Um, but the social
Hmm.
sides is that if something was to unexpectedly happen, is she going to be okay in his presence? Is he going to be able to step in
Yeah.
and contain situations? And this is what containment is about, being able to take ownership
Hmm.
and what's seen as control to be able to direct it towards an ideal outcome. Doesn't mean you have to fight, but at least that you can actually maneuver. And even if it's just to get the two of you out of
Yeah.
there. So that's the social one. The emotional one is, how is she being perceived? Um, is she being actually seen for who she is? And this is where the seen part is. The man's and the masculine's version of this is gotten. Does she feel gotten? Does she feel understood? Um, so where women would talk about seen, men would probably talk about being heard and being gotten and being understood. That's the visceral sides of things from an emotional piece. So is she being felt?
Mm.
And we're looking for what is her personal lived experience, and what is that as a felt experience, like in her um, experiential, like not experiential because I don't want to use that words because we're using that specifically, but what is her experience of the moment in your presence? Does that
Yeah.
cover it well?
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And then
that is so well said.
being held within that.
Was there
It's
more?
like, yeah, there's the element of safety is the in your presence. There's like this gravitational pull type thing, and it's not necessarily trying to pull it into you, but rather pulling it into the moment. And it's between the two of you that this shows up. That then she feels held, and this is what when women talk about being contained, she's actually held in this space, and that she doesn't have to hold herself there, because this is your presence
Mm.
is this subtle gravitational element that uh, is the dynamic.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add to that because that is really well said. And I think that's going to translate to the men who are listening, maybe um, as a like how to or what you're actually aiming for. That's it. The experience of it allows me to um, let my guard down, to be
Mm-hmm.
more vulnerable in the moment way, not like here's my deepest darkest trauma, but like to animate joy or excitement or um, pleasure in the experience that I'm having. Those are actually really vulnerable experiences to animate. And I don't know if men know that, but when you're able to create that gravitational pull effect, it naturally allows me to relax my masculine energy enough to let those things come into the we space, to come into the space that we're playing with together. And otherwise, I would be containing it and kind of like measuring how much of it is necessary or appropriate in this space. So if you're wanting her to be a little bit more expressive around you or to um, just be more relaxed in your presence, this is the space that she's looking to fill, the one that you're creating with your leadership energy.
Mm. So when you said about relaxing your guard, it's the conversation that you've had previously around bracing, where she's constantly bracing for something that could be coming and trying to prevent some undesirable thing from occurring, even regardless of whether that was because of you. It's most likely from some past piece. But having that gravitational pull in the dynamic means that she can feel grounded within it and be able to let go of that. Oh, I don't have to brace for this, or I don't have to brace for that. Okay, that's not actually here right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say men that do this or that are in this level, this phase, one thing that they do really well is create a sense of safety emotionally, in that there's not judgment, and also you can roll with whatever she's bringing to you. So, kind of back to the dance floor analogy, if she is doing her own flair to the dance, like you can be with that too. You don't have to have it be so rigid that she has to fit in this box. She's allowed to like express
Mm.
herself, and you're still assessing whether she's a good fit for you and what you're creating. But you don't have this like really rigid experience that you're needing her to stay within, or else you're going to feel out of control. And maybe you can speak to that from the men's lens, but from the feminine, that's the experience. Is like, I feel like I can just be all of myself. I don't have to
Mm.
be polished or um, not inappropriate and unpolished, but that there's not a right answer. I can literally just say whatever, and he can be with it and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, it's just to double check, because I had a phone call come through. I had to kill. So my audio still coming through, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so just for everyone else's case, I'm doing this on my phone. So yeah, I just had to make sure I'm managing certain things that are coming through. So apologies for that. To answer the element for the man is, this is where preconceived outcomes come into play. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're constantly expecting things to go a certain way, the technical term is a presupposition, but it's basically a preconceived outcome. There's an expectation of this certain outcome. Sorry, excuse the airplane going over too. And that preconceived, just wait a minute. That preconceived outcome is what a woman will feel consistently, because it shows up in every little element of what you're doing, and she is so attuned to subtleties that it is constantly there for her, that where am I being led to? And this is why dancing is a great analogy, because as a leader, you're then using your frame when you're holding a stance within dancing, and that frame will communicate something. And therefore,
Mm-hmm.
how you hold your being, which is all these preconceived notions, is communicated through that frame. And this is what she's picking up on, and this is what's making her uncomfortable, because she may not be ready to go down that path. Not that she doesn't want it, but that she wants to have a more of a feel of this dynamic between the two of you before heading down that way. So by being self-assured, in the sense of, I'm comfortable in any moment right now, I don't need it to go a certain path, then it creates a dynamic of openness, where she's like, oh, okay, I have room to move. Cool. Now that I got room to move, I can actually really show him who I am in this space that he's creating. And I get to now, oh, show him this. How does he respond when I do this? How does he respond when I do that? Because this is what I love doing, and I want to see how he responds to that. And if he's asking follow-up questions or clarifying questions, depending on the type of man that he is, then all of a sudden she's like, oh, here's another side of me that I hadn't felt into before. So now, okay, what is there for me? I get to explore this with him, and it's something new, and it's a whole experience with this man, because he was open to it going however it needed to go.
Yes. I love that. I would say especially true for the men who are going to resonate more with the executional content that we've got coming out. The experience that you're creating for her of like a sense of newness or novelty or exploration is going to be really exciting. And there, for a lot of women, that is part of what they're wanting, is to explore these parts of themselves that they may not get to animate in any other area of their life. They're wanting that to come to their romantic relationship. And I would say the same is true maybe in reverse for men. There's parts that they want to bring that are more appropriate for a romantic relationship that they wouldn't explore in any other context. So um, your ability to be present and hold yourself and keep that frame, as you were talking about, in any moment, regardless of what she's presenting, you can kind of just go with it. And kind of a reminds me of that improv idea of like yes and, to just keep
Mm.
moving. And yeah, that's what it feels like
Yeah,
to me. I
that's
don't, obviously you on the side.
yeah, it's more to what you were saying and other videos around the we is the space between two me's, and then being able to play
Mm-hmm.
with that space is what allows for different experiences and expressions to show up within it. And the reason we're
Mm-hmm.
taking a fair amount of time on this one specifically is because there's a lot of men that have been asking for, how do I get a relationship? Like, how do I get the partner that I'm after? Well, aim for self-assurance. If you're self-assured, then it just creates this easeful space that she's able to show up within and feel like she can just participate and be expressed in your presence. Because what actually turns a woman on is, one, safety. So being able to, you being owning your experience, owning your emotions, owning your what's going on for you, and the yeah, it's mostly ownership that is allows for that type of safety to come up, and then being able to work out um, how do I set this frame that creates the we-ness together, where she can actually feel me, but it's this sense of I'm comfortable in my own skin because I've learned how to have my sense of self be based on things that are with me, regardless of where I am, in comparison to the world having to look a certain way for me to feel like I'm okay. And this deeper
Ah.
level is what truly creates a space for true partnership. Because a lot of men, they were saying they want a relationship, and a friendship is a relationship. So if you're not getting the relationship you're after, it's because you're not being specific enough with what you're looking for. So what you're after is partnership, and self-assurance is where to aim to get what you're after.
Mm-hmm. Mm. This is when dating is going to be, I would say, way more fun for you,
Mm.
because the options are more aligned and not necessarily broad, but more aligned. You're going to have more fun because of the co-creating that you're able to experience, but also it's going to be a little bit more purposeful because you're bringing that leadership energy. You have a vision of where you want this to go, and you are playing together to see if that is something that you're both in line for. You both want to go in the same direction. And with that self assurance, you're going to be able to have those uh, challenging conversations, the ones that would have previously shut you down or created a lot of
Mm.
anxiety. People have shared that that creates a lot of anxiety. That was my experience for sure. Um, to really reveal yourself and say, hey, this is who I am. This is where I want to go with my life and with this, with a relationship. Is that the way that you want to be going too? That can feel like confrontation if you have not worked through that. So, yeah, the self assurance piece is exactly what you're saying, is exactly where you need to be aiming for this.
Absolutely. And sorry, I'll just mute for this. No, it's gone down plain. Just so everyone, yeah, apologies. I'm on the road again still. So where I am is apparently in a flight plane. But this was important, so we had to get it going. But yeah, coming back to it,
Mm-hmm.
the
Thank you.
just to really anchor it down is that self-assurance is about being comfortable with who you are, no matter what situation you're in. So going beyond values because values are social constructs of how we interact with each other at a social level, into principles. Because values are what you be, principles are what you do, and when you do principles to a certain standard, then values emerge innately in your being, that people experience you as being your values. So this is where a lot of people get hung up on trying to do their values. Like, you can't do confidence. What you do is whatever it allows you to feel self-assured, that you then be confident, as in people experience you as confident. Whereas for yourself, you're just like, I don't understand why people are now saying I'm confident, because I just feel a lot more calm. And that's where a lot of the collapse and nuances show around a lot of people trying to do something that you can't do, you be it. But the way to be it is to do something else to a standard that this shows up.
Oh, yes. So well said.
Mm.
I love that.
So this is where a lot of people, a lot of men in the community, and just a lot of men in general, are aiming for without realizing it. And it's why we're going into this level of nuance, so that you have something to ask for. It's like, oh, I want that then. Like, I want this relationship. If the only way I'm getting this relationship is to become self-assured, then yeah, come and if you're hearing this and going, I want that, great, do a discovery call. And we were going to say this at the end, but we're going to do 10% off for the next 5 people, and regardless if you need a payment plan or not, relevant. So just book a discovery call if you're like, yes, I want that.
I'm excited for
Any more
this.
on that?
Yeah, I love this
Any
content.
more on that one before we jump on the other 2 as well?
No, I think that's great.
Mm. So these next 2 are to give an understanding of where it can go to, and there's also going to be some men that are like, yeah, okay, I want that too. So the next one is committed, and it's deeply committed to something larger than himself, clear direction and purpose, operating from authentic calling, and allowing that commitment to organize and give meaning to all other capabilities and relationships. So what's your perceived element of a man that's at this level, and what does that do for you as a woman?
Mm. This is where she's going to be talking to her friends about you. Um, her best friends, this is the information she's going to be bringing, that he showed up in this way, and this is like the felt experience she's looking for at this stage, is that you have enough of your um, sense of self, your like center mass, that gravitational pull is strong enough to allow her to come into your world, that you have enough direction. You're not going to be collapsing all of that if she is in your presence. You're like sturdy enough that you can handle her orbiting around you with her life and things that light her up. It's going to allow her to have um, not only clarity about you. I think the clarity about you starts to come in when you become a contender. She can see you. She can see where you have some boundaries, you have some sturdiness about you. This is really where um, she's going to be seeing how she fits into your world. This is, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
if the leader on the dance floor analogy is like, you can approach any woman on the dance floor. You've got that self assurance that, like, I'm going to figure this dance out. We're co creating the dance together, anyways. I have enough of the basic skills that I can figure it out. The confidence piece is starting to come online, and you can approach any woman on the dance floor. This is when she's going to be like, I hope he asks me. I would wait for him to ask me, because that is the level of attraction that will be built. It's yeah. What do you want to add to that?
Okay, so dancing is a good analogy, because I used to do competition ballroom when I was like 6, 7 years old. And there's the difference between, say, social dancing versus
Mm-hmm.
partnered professional dancing. So this is where we're getting to the level where the the women that know how to dance without backleading, without trying to put too much into your space to make it look a certain way. They're like, no, I want to actually partner with him to find where do I need to be and how do I need to be based on his guidance and movement. So she's after more dancing with you. And this is where it's the professional dancing style, or at least partnered. And you're doing classes together, and you're going to different dances and socially dancing together. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the analogy from the dance perspective. But if we now go across to the other analogy of home and house, this is where she's walking through your lifestyle in the home and going, oh, this is what I can do with that room. This is what I can do with that room. And being able to turn what you've been creating into a house where she can feel like she's a part of it and that she can contribute to what you're up for because you are up for something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more that I could say about this one because this one might be one of my favorite stages to talk about, but I'm at a loss for words at the moment. But this is when she's starting to envision the future too. Before, your presence allows her to animate enough that she can start to get a feel for you. When a man's at this level, she's like, oh, I want to be on board with wherever he's going. That lights me up too. I can see how I can add to it, and it really like amplifies your purpose. Her essence comes in and just amplifies whatever you're up to. And she knows that. That's, I think, when it starts to register for the feminine, that she is going to amplify whatever you're up to. So, depending on where she's at in her process, and a lot of the women who are looking for this level are, I'm going to say, choosy in where they invest their feminine energy and emotional energy, because it is that like multiplication factor that we talk about with the feminine. This is where she's like, I want to be investing in that, and it's about to blow up.
Okay. So if we use some other language that's around in the relationship sides of things about optionality, this
Mm,
is where optionality comes into play, because you become the caliber of man that the high caliber women start to pay even more attention to, because they were paying attention before. They were seeing it like, okay, I can see something, but I'm not going to put my energy into that until he's gotten to this standard, because I know that if I try to do it too soon, he's going to pull me off center. That doesn't serve him. It doesn't serve me. So when you get to this
exactly.
committed level of having your life be more about than the relationship, and actually more to do with a style of living, and being able to open that up as an invitation for a woman to come into, she's like, you nailed it. Now I need to come and see if the house you've got is what I want to build my home in. And there you'll find that it's a lot easier to operate with these types of women because they don't want to waste your time. They're looking at it going, is he right for me or not? Okay, I may not be right for him, so I'm going to back out. And because you've now mastered self-assurance, you don't take it personally. So she's comfortable to just be straight with you and go, I love what you have here. It's not for me, and also I'm not for you, but I do know this other friend who's looking for something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
where in the self-assured, she's telling her friends and wanting to be a part of it. In the committed, she's telling her friends in a whole nother level.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Yeah, because I don't want it to sound like there's uh, hierarchy here, but I do think that her ability to sense exactly where she fits in is going to be her equally selecting you. You're going to be like two equally empowered people who are just observing how the other person is moving through the world and isn't there to waste time. And I love what you said
Mm,
about the back leading too. This is going to be, I would say, partly because you've mastered the leadership skill and you can kind of move your frame around the dance floor and roll with whatever. It will feel easier. And when you're across from a woman that's in this stage too, it's going to feel even easier because she is going to be more aware of her feminine energy and bringing that forward even more quickly because you've created such safety early on. She can really feel, she's sensitive enough that she can feel where safety is present and isn't needing for it to be like this formal checklist. Obviously, there's going to be an amount of time that feels appropriate for her, but it's going to be a little bit more playful for her to share what you need, the information you would need to see if this is a good fit for you, and vice versa.
Mm. And this
That makes
caliber of woman actually, yeah, it makes sense to me anyway. This
okay.
caliber of woman
Okay.
sees her relationships as investments. This is where
Yes.
she knows that she's going to be the best based on her relationships. And if you're then showing up and she's like, "Ooh, I like your life. I can't see myself in it, but I like you around." This is where it's a different type of friend that comes in. You're not friend zoned, but rather she's like, I'm keen to see you succeed, because you succeeding means that you're probably going to bring a bunch of other candidates through that are at your caliber. And this isn't her consciously doing this. This is just an unconscious thing that women know instinctively, that when you have the right type of people in your environment and you're looking after them, you innately get looked after. So getting to this level means
Ooh.
that you're no longer just a contender in the sense of you're an option, but now you're getting to the point of what a lot of others call optionality. And it's not trying to get to optionality so that you have all these options and now you can be a player and all this type of stuff. That's not our community, and we know that's not. But it's more the being able to experience all your hard work, because now you actually are to everyone else showing up as confident, and all this hard
Mm-hmm.
work of self-assurance, of becoming committed to something beyond yourself that you can actually take other people with. Then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I want to be a part of this. I like how you dance, so I want to bring other people to dance with you.
Yeah. I love that because there have been men where I know that it wasn't a fit for me, but someone that I knew was, and was able to connect them, and they're married now. So like when you do get to that point, you not only increase your options just in your kind of magnetism in general, but also other people are looking out for your interests because of who you're being to them.
Mm.
So, yeah.
And here's an interesting inversion then, because at this level, women feel gotten and understood. And what happens is you end up feeling seen, because they're like, oh, no, I see something deep in you, and I see that over there too. So let me make this connection. And because if I'm wrong, then happy to be wrong, and we can fix this. But I think I'm right, so let's have a go. And then it becomes a playful thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. This is a fun stage to be in. What was the next one? Or was there anything else you had add to that one?
No, I was just waiting for the plane to go.
Okay.
Um, so the next one is contained. And again, you're going to hear us talking a lot about containment, containers, contained, and what does it really mean? This is getting to contained is the full embodiment of the masculinity that you are. So whether you have an affinity more to the experiential versus the executional, being contained is being able to um, be completely present with what's oneself and being accountable for it, while also being present with others and being able to graciously and masterfully maneuver things so that it brings around this thing that you're up for in life, and being able to help guide somebody within what you're up for to the right position, or guide them out if it's not appropriate for them and they hadn't realized it. So to read this one even further, it is fully self-contained with sophisticated emotional and social intelligence and mastery. The embodiment of mature masculine presence, that can contain any situation while enabling others' authentic expression and growth. So what's that like in a man that you've seen, and what's the feminine experience of this type of man?
Yeah. This one is, this one feels like safety. If safety were at scale, that's what it feels like. This one is um, all the layers previous, but fully integrated into every aspect of how he moves through the world. And I would say the feminine experience with this one is um, contentment. It just feels like ease. It feels like um, a man who's in this stage, I would have no problem bringing challenges to, even challenging emotions to, because I have such confidence in his ability to contain both me, the situation, the challenge. It's like layers of containment are there. And it's a deep sense of trust that I think creates that bond that a lot of people are looking for. But for the feminine, it feels like I feel safer bringing this to you than trying to do it on my own. And that allows that like healthy leaning in piece of interdependence where you are truly better together than you are apart. The um, yeah, I'm trying to think how I would describe that, but oh,
Mm-hmm.
had a
That's
little
right. There
pause
was.
in the recording there, but that's okay. Um, yeah, this is like full trust, full. Um, there's a backing element too. Like I would stand behind this type of man in any situation, and whatever his like judgment is like I would back it. There's that level of confidence in him and who he is because you've seen him in multiple ways, both contain himself, contain you, contain the situation, and is able to do that at scale. You always say at scale, but like that does make the most sense to me. That there's
Mm.
um, no sense of concern for uh, easily just partnering and like holding the container of the relationship together too.
Yeah. Another, I guess the masculine or male word for this would be honored. She feels honored
Oh.
and just in his presence because of his. So I think I put this in one of the comments. Being present with someone is one thing. Embodying that into the point where it shows up in your presence is another. And when you really master this, then this is what contained is about, is being able to fully bring your being present with someone to not just be about that, but it's also now you're around, you're aware of this other person as being separate to you, but you're also aware of the dynamic between the two of you. And then you're aware of the dynamic around the two of you. Then you're aware of the dynamic that sits within the complete and utter social elements. So you have personal, which is the two of us. Then you have the we, and what's that dynamic and how is that flowing, and you're being with that. So you're being with yourself, you're being with the dynamic, and you're being with this other person, this amazing woman, and you're keeping the dynamic between the two of you. Then you're aware of the dynamic around you in case something comes up that you need to maneuver the we out of the way. Then you're aware of what does that mean around us? Like, what does that mean in the standards of society, and how does this show up with her friends and her family and your friends and your family? And now you're really getting down to the juiciness of partnership because of this multi-layered awareness that you have been able to, it's kind of like a level of automation, given it to your body. And that way you can still stay present with this woman, and be able to have it that your awareness goes from being like what do they call it? It's the instead of it being a tunnel, it's now opened up further that you've got almost like 360-degree feelings around, and being able to still have this deep connection here while there's a subtle awareness. And think of it like driving. When you drive a car, you have an awareness of traffic. So you're navigating traffic while you have people in the car, while you're going to some sort of direction, and you're with the conversation happening in the car, and you're also navigating through the streets to where you need to go, and you're aware of the situations that are around you. And if someone's being dangerous over there, now you know how to navigate the car out of the way. This is containment. This is being contained. And it's just a level of mastery that becomes embodied, as in you have anchored it so much in your body that you don't have to think about it, and therefore you can be in the moment.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Oof. I would say being across from a man who's able to do that opens up for the feminine, like expansion that she hasn't maybe even explored herself. It will be like new creative ideas, new desires, new ways that she is animating her body, um, like future ideas that she will be able to bring to you and feel completely safe about doing that. Um, Sharing her vision for what she's like desiring to create with you. I think this is where there's a feeling state in the feminine body with this type of man that's like it is just a matter of logistics, the things that are needing to be considered, really. Um, she's automatically aware of like what you are, what
I was going to say she's already a complete
she,
yes. Like for her to be there,
yeah,
she's consistently
yeah.
going, I'm a yes to this. I'm a yes to this. I will face every fear, every doubt. I will bring those to you because I want to continue to be a yes to this and you. And it's because of the level of embodiment. I know that word's not easy to visualize, but it's basically just learning how to um, feel through something to a point where you're like, all right, I know that in these situations, scenarios, or circumstances, I will respond this way. And I will condense that into a principle, and I will just live by that principle. And now I don't have to think about it. Because when these things show up, I will pull out my principle and go, here's I'm handling it. And I will, regardless of the consequences, here's what I've decided. And I will take those consequences, good
Mm-hmm.
or bad, because consequences aren't negative. They're actually, you can have good consequences and negative consequences. But it then becomes this level of leadership is what we're talking about, is where you're accountable and responsible. And therefore, a woman wants you to be that, and she will bring everything she can to make sure you have what you need to continue this dynamic between the two of you. And this actually leads to
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate goal, which is embodied partnership. The journey leads to men who can create environments where others naturally discover and express their authentic selves, supported by mature masculine
Mm-hmm.
presence and wisdom.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because this goes
Well,
beyond. When I hear that, this goes beyond just the partnership with you and her. This is like partnership with you and her that also contains layers of community, your family, your families, your like there's you have like ripple effects of how you're able to be in partnership together and um yeah, and considering what
it's a
each other is
three-way
needing,
dynamic.
what each other is.
I just want to jump in here
Ooh,
because I
say
think that
say more.
yeah, it's a three-way dynamic. It's a win for you, it's a win for her, and it's a win for what matters to both of you at the same time. So what you're actually in partnership with isn't just her, but it's life. And because you've now created a style of life that both of you really love and cherish and just want to keep doing more of, now you have this whole different partnership, and therefore all your friends or your family, they know how to be around you and with you and to celebrate what you've now created because of this style of living.
I love that. Yeah, well said. Thank you for going there.
Cool. You're welcome.
Is there
I got to
anything
remember my
else?
little words that I chuck in there sometimes. I don't think so. I think that's probably pretty good. And let's come back to,
Okay.
yeah, let's re-bring around that offer. 10% off for the next 3 men. Did I say 3 or some other number?
5.
5? Okay. Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the plane going over while I say this. 10% off for the next 5 men, regardless of which stage they want to go to. And as I'm personally been in business for a while, so I just see myself as an entrepreneur, and I'm a type of entrepreneur that wants to get this to as many people. So if the financial thing's an issue for you and you need some sort of payment plan or something like that, then just mention that on the discovery call. Own your situation, own where you're at, and ask for what you need. And we will do what we can to work with you so that you can get what you need. Because what you will find is the more that you step into your masculinity, the more that all of life will open up to you. And then you won't just have more opportunities in your romantic relationships, but it'll just bring out around other opportunities because you'll be perceiving the world differently. So therefore, the world will be perceiving you differently and aligning. Different things just happen.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that, and I love too the like owning your experience. That is like the first invitation into more masculine energy is getting what you need as part of just like owning it, owning where you're at, and then you get to move through the journey in a way that's actually congruent for what you're needing,
And
which means it gets to
that's
feel
the
good.
whole thing. That's the whole thing about this whole living to
Mm-hmm.
the point of becoming contained is owning your experience, owning what's going on for you, and being able to then talk with and negotiate with others around getting your needs met, getting their needs met, and making sure that it's all the whole try-win situation. So we will be some of the first to honor that. You own your stuff. Let's have a chat. Let's negotiate. Let's work out what would work and what wouldn't, while maintaining that we must guide things to be able to make it safe for everybody, but also to give you the experience that you need as you're going through this journey. Because there is experiences that you must go through in order to fully have this anchor and be owned.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Can you do you want to explain when you were saying of where they want to get to in those stages? Like
Are
we've
you
got
meaning like the
levels of
outcomes of the
intensity. Maybe
raptor?
I'll just go there. We've got levels of intensity.
Hmm.
No, like we've got levels of intensity depending on where you're wanting to go and how much containment you need to experience in
Oh,
order to create that outcome.
you're talking about the packages we put together so that if somebody might be
Yeah,
more into, they get a bit and then they have some space to do it, to integrate it, to
yeah.
come back again. So yeah, the packages have
Mhm.
shifted to be about doing the same stuff regardless of where you're coming in. It just comes down to how much intensity is the words we're using. But how much space do you need to be with it and to integrate it? Some people like cut through and they're like, I want a session, one a week, and we're gonna get through this thing. So we'll do a 3 months intensive where it's one session a week and all the other stuff that's added into the package as well. Whereas you get another man might be like, I love the 3 month thing. I want to take a bit of time. Let me again just wait for this plane. Sorry.
Mhm.
one of the benefits of being the type of entrepreneur I am means I get to travel around. And sometimes when I'm visiting different places, it just means that I have to be okay with what's going around me. So thank you everyone for your graciousness. So yeah, we're seeing one wants cut through and they want immediate results. The other end of the spectrum is, no, I want to savor it as I go through. I'm happy with being able to just take it a bit at a time. So maybe it's one session a month with Telegram and different pieces to help with the gradual integration. And then there's one right in the middle, which is bi-weekly. And in Australia, we call that fortnightly. So same difference. It's basically every 2 weeks having a session and being able to have that middle ground between high level of intensity and cut through versus gradual. Maybe we call that simmering.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. There was something that was coming to me as you were saying that, and oh, what was coming to me is that because the sessions that we're doing are a little bit, it is going to be the feeling of being contained. It will feel like intensity being held that allows you to relax into it and let the information come into your body. That's how I always explain it to people, and correct me if there's another way to say this in a way that the men will hear, but I always say, like, you actually have to experience what it feels like to let it drop from your thoughts into your body, and part of that is with being contained. So like the session can feel a little bit intense when you're in it because it's containing you, and when you leave that session and you're just going into kind of integration, your nervous system has to absorb all the information that you've just allowed to download. And sometimes having more space, depending on how well you can hold that container yourself, now that we've shown you what it looks and feels like, if you can hold that yourself, that might be appropriate for you to have more space. If that's something that you're struggling with, it's going to be easier for you because it just allows it to continue dropping in, to have a structure around you that keeps you in that space of feeling contained so that you can continue letting it download.
I like what you're talking about. It's basically we're having a buffet where right now you like, I want cut through. I want high intensity because there's just this thing in my life and I need to get through it. So therefore intensity is required. And where you're talking about while the session feels like containment, it's because it is. We will be using emotional and social sides of things to create certain lights of containment. And you won't even notice what we're doing. It just will feel like you're being contained. And therefore, you will have a lived experience of containment. So now you know what women are looking for to bring that to the table. Now, this buffet thing means that, all
Yes.
right, right now I need cut through. Later on, my life's shifting and I'm getting some great results. And I want to keep this going because I want to regroup what's happening as I'm going along, but I don't want to add even more to my plate right now. So let me wind it back to lukewarm and being able to do it a little bit at a time and sharing my results and being able to ask specific questions as they're coming up and stay connected within it all. There's many different ways that we can go about it. So don't feel like it has to be all one all the time. Rather, right now you need this. Great, let's get you through that. Once we're through that, let's regroup and have a look at what do you need next. Maybe it's just staying in the community and being okay with staying in the community for now and then coming back around and doing another package in the future. Like we're bringing so much more options so that you have a technical term, because I'm from software engineering, is bespoke, but it's a custom personalized. There you go. A personalized journey through this, but it's not a Lucy type thing where you feel like it's not structured. It's more of there is a structure, there is variation within that structure, but it is still personalized and to what you need.
I love that you said that too, because I am a firm believer that you will have a harder time, and I'm going to say it's nearly impossible to create something that you haven't experienced, like containment. If you haven't
Mm.
experienced containment, it's going to be really difficult when we're like, oh, she wants to feel contained, for you to be like, got it. But once you've experienced it, you know, you have a rough blueprint of what you're trying to accomplish, and then you can actually maybe more systematically practice those things that will allow her to experience it, and you'll have some feedback loops of how well is this working, or what is her experience within it, and I know what I'm looking for that lets me know I'm doing it at the, what is it you say, at the standard that is going to create the outcome that we're both looking for.
Yeah, so having a visceral experience which becomes hooks or anchor points for this conceptual language for you to be going, oh, that's what you mean. Because us using these words don't really mean anything until they mean something. So this is why we've upgraded the content to be able to give even more deeper understanding of your already lived experience as much as possible, and then being able to create the actual content and the courses and the sessions to help you go through those experiences and being able to identify and distinguish when this experience, that means this thing here. And when it's varied this way, that means something else. And we're not going to be going to that level of it, but it's something that your mind will automatically start to play with, where you're like, oh, when you said this, did you mean this here or that over there? And that's when we can add a little bit more. And now you've got freedom of expression.
I love that. I love that so much.
So
Is
I've
there
got about
anything
6%
else
of
that would be
battery
helpful
left.
to know?
Yeah, I was going to say I've got about 6% of battery left, so I'm going to have to finish up here. I think the only thing that's left is, how? How can someone book a discovery call? What are some of the other options? So, this is something you and I discussed before as well. Our YouTube content is going to be specific things to like simpler concepts and earlier stage stuff. To go into a little bit more depth, we're going to be doing a bit of that in the paid YouTube sides of things. And then you have the full, you need help integrating this, getting a deeper understanding of it, book a discovery call, and let's work out how best to support you through what you're going through. Because we want to partner with you to be able to become the type of man that you want to become, and to get the type of outcomes you want to get. Now, to get those outcomes, you need to become a certain type of man that automatically attracts the types of women and opportunities and relationships that you're after. So that's why we've restructured everything to be able to deliver on that.
Yes, and I am so pleased with how the content is coming through and how it is structured. I think it is amazing, beyond what I had previously even envisioned. This is just like next level, so I'm so excited for that. But if that is something that you're interested in, even just learning some more information around, I'm going to put the links in the description for this video, and you're welcome to book a discovery call. You can book that with both Andrew and I at the same time if you want to have a conversation with both of us and really get a feel for how we work both together or separately, and have some more clarity around that, as well as what's needed for you to step into that version of yourself that naturally embodies the skills and the identity of the man that type of woman is looking for.
All right. Well, thank you again for this these lovely sessions. I always enjoy jumping on and being able to bring everything we've been putting together to the community. But I'm going to have to jump because I'd hate for this to cut out and everyone feel abandoned in a moment.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your support in this and communicating all of this. And we will catch you guys again next time.
Cool. Thanks. Cheers.